Hello, everybody. I'm really excited to be here. I love Reno, and I love what I do. I'm one of the lucky ones. I've been very blessed to love what I do. And to talk about business and entrepreneurship is an honor. And I was thinking, where do I hit with this? And I'm really going to focus on relationships. And it's important to me, loving what I do. I'm in relationships with a lot of different people. And that's kind of how I try to build my businesses. Success is defined many ways. So it could be financial. It could be you're happy. We've heard a bunch of different definitions today. The thing I love about this is I learned a ton today. So I'm here to talk about the fact that, I hate to say it, but I love pigs. I absolutely love pigs. I've learned a ton from that humble animal. A few things that I did not know about pigs are they don't sweat. Unlike me right now, pigs do not sweat. They regulate their body temperature two ways, rolling around in the mud, cooling off that way. And they also, this is the key part that I like, is they regulate themselves by the amount of back fat they have. And we all know, chefs, not chefs, if you're at home, if you love bacon, fat is flavor. And natural pigs raised in natural habitats have more fat because they get to live outside and they don't live in pens and they're not kind of just in the factory farms that are no good. So that kind of relationship with an animal like that, I was blessed enough to meet a farmer, Paul Willis, out at his farm. And during that time, there was a demonstration of a whole pig. Pig weighs, half a pig on a table, weighs about 112 pounds. And anyone here eating pork tenderloin, I really don't necessarily enjoy eating those anymore. They weigh about 2 pounds. So you take that, out comes the pork tenderloin, and you have about 108 pounds sitting there in front of you. What are we going to do with this animal? This is the whole hog philosophy. It's not just about the animal, but it says, what are we going to do with this whole animal here? To celebrate it, to enjoy it, and to have it make good business sense. You can't just eat the pork tenderloins in life. You got to get after the whole entire thing. And that's kind of how I kind of started my relationship with farms and farmers. So I said, what can I do to make sure that I'm doing my part for that animal? And the thing that came to mind was adopt a whole hog philosophy, right? So if we can say in my restaurants for the last 12 years, we've used the whole entire animal at all times, I feel like I'm doing my part instead of just pulling out the nice bits and leaving the rest for somebody else to deal with. Okay, so from a business standpoint, that's kind of cool. It makes sense. The best part that does is it helps me with the bottom line. There's something to say about it, right? That pork tenderloin in the store costs $9 a pound, and a whole animal costs anywhere between $2.50 to $3.95 a pound. So I'm making money there to a certain extent. I'm able to create relationships with more people who come in to work on animals and be a part of what we do with that. So I built this kind of farming system where we took that. Now, it's not just about a pig. We do the same thing with lambs. We do the same thing with cows. And through that time, we've met some amazing farmers. Farmers are the lifeblood of restaurants these days that are like ours. We want to make farming cool again. There's a couple farmers in the audience today. And farming is making a humongous comeback, especially here in Reno. If you look around, you see the Whole Foods is busy, and it'll tell you where their food comes from. You see the Great Basin Food Co-op. You see more farmers markets than in some cities right here in Reno. And that was one of the things that I said, do I want to come to Reno to do a business? And I said, absolutely, because they care about where their food comes from. You got to ask those questions. Where is this apple from? Am I going to buy an organic apple from, Mexico or somewhere else, or am I going to buy something from Washington when it's in season? So we really work hard, really work hard with our farmers to make sure that we understand seasons. And then us as restaurants, our job is to make sure that we're paying attention to what we're putting on our menus. And your job as customers is to turn around and buy and go for the things that are in season, right? So you may love asparagus, and I love asparagus, and we only buy it coming out of the Delta in the springtime. But I don't go for asparagus year-round. And our customers would come in and say, why don't you have any asparagus? Because it's not in season. It's really simple. So that keeps dollars in our community, and it helps us grow as a business, and it helps us support our local community. And everyone here is a part of that, because that's where they spend their dollars. Okay, so from a business and entrepreneurial standpoint, it's really smart that we speak with our wallets. Okay, so I can sit up here and talk. I can serve pig trotters and pig ears and snouts all day long, but if no one comes to buy them, it's not going to really make sense. So we work really hard at that. We have a lot of great farmers here in this town, And we try to focus on them and let them do the work. One of the sayings that I have is we buy a great product and try not to mess it up. We stay out of the way. We get out of the way, let the product speak for itself. There's some beautiful places to visit, and when you know where your food comes from and you see these places and you can go out and get to know these people, you feel better eating it. It makes you feel better as a person. So a really big part of business, obviously, is employees. And employees are absolutely the lifeblood of what we do, especially in a restaurant. Restaurant business, there's a famous saying, if you want to make $1 million, start with $10 million, and then you'll make your million. So it's not necessarily, we're not into the restaurant business for profit. We're into it for relationships. We're into it for love of what we do, and we're into it because we kind of a little bit tweaked up at the top, I think. So, and I'm okay with that. I'm absolutely okay with that. So having the relationships with employees, trying to get them to buy off on the same things that we buy off on. They have to believe the way that we believe. They have to see the same things and understand what they're cooking. It's very, very, very important. Some other people need to buy off and have a relationship with are customers. Customers really, again, if no customers are coming through the door, Campo is not what it is. If Reno is not supporting our customers at Campo, we're in big trouble. So really, understanding our customers is very, very important. So how do we do that? Yelp, right? Yelping, you've seen that commercial on that? I mean, I'll tell you what, we get on Yelp, we follow Yelp. In 2004, someone said to me, hey, Mark, you better take a look at this Facebook thing, and you should look at this Twitter thing. And I was like, Facebook, schmacebook, Twitter, schmitter, who wants to do any of that? I'm a cook. I'm going to make French fries and cut up pigs all day. And lo and behold, I don't have that business anymore. So I had to learn. I had to learn the hard way. How do I pay attention to these things? How do I pay attention to what my customers are doing? Unfortunately, you can't just go table to table. That's a great way to do it. I call that hand-to-hand combat. Sometimes it's fun. Sometimes it's difficult when they give you I'm not very happy with what you're serving here right now. So that being said, we kind of look at our way and say, the customers now, we can reach out. Yelp, Facebook, Twitter. How do we reach them? You know, if I just went on Yelp and answered the things that I see on there, which are like, you know, this was disgusting and I didn't like this and I just want to reach out and grab the person and strangle them, you can't do that. It doesn't work that way. Even if they may be wrong, the customer is always right. We were taught that in Restaurant 101. So we work really hard to understand what they're talking about. We've been able to get a way to listen to what they have to say, decide how we can implement what they're saying. When we first opened Campo, a lot of people said, we don't have bread. You only have one size of pasta. So we now offer like a great house-made focaccia. Like a week after we opened, we were having focaccia. We had 2 sizes of pasta. We listened to our customers. And all of a sudden, I noticed, we started getting recognized for, hey, wow, they'll listen to what you say. Now, you got to weed out the wackos, okay? You got to weed out the wackos. There's a lot of people out there who just want to tell you a couple things to see if you'll do it. And, you know, thanks for the idea of giving away free wine with every dinner, but that didn't really, we decided not to take that up as a suggestion, but I appreciate that. Our customers are very important. They come and they support us. And how do we learn those types of things? Because obviously, you know, I'm a former dishwasher. I was a dishwasher in high school. I learned my way, Barber's Kitchen in Arlington, Massachusetts. I learned my way up the ranks. And you have to hire and be a part of and work with great partners. So our partners are very, very important to us. We have a great agency that's helped me understand what Twitter is, what Facebook is, and I learned from my mistakes to do things better. Okay, I've made a ton of mistakes. And, you know, I saw something out there. It's like, if you're not making mistakes, you're not trying hard enough. And I take that to heart every single day. I wake up every single day and I say, how can I do better? Look in the mirror, say, what can I do better? How can I be a better boss? How can I be a better employer? How can I be a better learner? What can I learn? What can I do? And I use my partners to help me guide along the way. Left to my own devices, God knows what's going to happen. Right? We just know that that's not the way it's going to be done the best way. I ask people. I solicit feedback. I go out and I engage into the community with our partners. Engaging in the community is another ginormous way to understand what's going on out there. So listening to what people say. You know what? It's hard to sit down and have somebody tell you, you know, I don't like this because this, and this. I've learned to do that. I've learned to listen to what they have to say, understand that they're not attacking me. I don't take it as that way. Someone posts something bad about you, that's your life. Someone writes a bad review, that is your life. on a piece of paper, not only mine, but the 48 employees we have in the restaurant. You tell me if I'm not going to protect 48 people the same way that I protect my own family. So you have to get out in the community and learn from what's going on. Perfect example, and in a way that I'm up here, I was asked one time to come to speak to an MBA class. What the hell am I doing talking to an MBA class, right? It's probably the same thing I was thinking, if you thought that. And it was the most unbelievable turning experience of part of my career where I said, there's so many things out there from a business standpoint that I need to pay attention to. There's so many ways to learn. There's so many ways to engage in the community. It's, giving the donations and doing all those things, recycling, all those things, that comes part of the course. That is part of what we do. But there's the ways to learn and teach, and it's like that relationship thing. Relationships aren't always one way, right? Relationships are two ways. So if I want to have relationships, I have to give, and I also get to receive. So that's that whole nice two-way street of giving and receiving. And learning to be involved in the community, it means coming to this. It means speaking at a business class. It means, going out to the different events that are held at all the different casinos and engaging the public and engaging the community and doing everything you possibly can to help educate the community, educate yourself about what people want, be involved with what people have going on. They show support for you, you show support for them. Hell, I'm going down to Dolan's and buying a car. That's where I'm going. When I need that, that's where we're going to go. So it's really important that we engage those things. But really, the relationships that we go through are forged from spending time with people. And it's very important for me where, I can just kind of sit in my office or get tended to get pulled away to different ways. But if I can refocus myself and stay engaged with what's going on with my customers, with my people, with people around me who can listen and help me do different things, it's a really good way to learn. And really, that's what business and entrepreneurship is about for me. There's no answer. Every single day, why I love what I do is every day I wake up and it's something new. It's never the same old, same old. There's some people it's part of everyone's job. There are people at work sometimes that every day they do the same thing, and they like that. They need to do that, and we need them. I need my dishwasher. I need my line cooks. And I treat them like gold because they're just as important as the most senior person who's going to dole out advice to me on a daily basis of how to manage our cash flows. So surrounding myself with people to help is the most important thing. So all this really here is, nothing groundbreaking, cooking, owning a restaurant. It's not rocket science. We're applying heat. Really is all we're doing. We take great products. We don't screw them up. We apply heat. Hopefully you like it. We keep it simple, right? Campo, neighborhood restaurant, and in developing a neighborhood restaurant and why I chose the neighborhood, I spoke a little about the fact that I love the farms down here. Well, having relationships with family, my wife is from Reno, so that's why we chose to come down here, and we've been able to really make a good hit on what's happening down here. We've been able to embrace the community, and I believe the community has embraced us. We'll continue to work in that relationship. Throughout my time, I've made a ton of mistakes, as I pointed out before. No one's perfect, but every day I get back up and just keep on hitting it and moving forward, right? So I was taught a few times, a few things that I try to do on a daily basis that help me in my business. These help me with my business. I do a good act that I don't tell anybody about. My good acts, we do a lot of good acts that we tell about because social media and Twitter, that's what a part of our job is. But when we do a good act, it doesn't count if anyone finds out what it is. That's like a challenging thing that I try to do to myself every single day. If I can do one good thing, it doesn't have to be some monumental thing. It can be as simple as saying hello, opening a door, picking up a piece of trash. Do it, don't tell anybody about it, right? Hey, I just picked up a piece of trash, Twitter, Mark picking up trash, That doesn't count. That doesn't count. Unfortunately, right? So that part right there is something that I challenge you all to go do. Do a random act of kindness or do an act of kindness to do something small, but don't tell anybody about it. Okay, do the ones that you tell about it too, because those are all great also. But really, I try to say, what can we do as time goes on about building these relationships and having a family? It's not just about the business anymore. It's about learning about the mistakes you've made, and then how can you apply that? And I was taught a while ago a really, really cool lesson that I learned, and every once in a while I try to do at least once a year, and sometimes more if I'm not in the right direction. I write my own obituary. I don't know if everyone's ever done this before. I write my own obituary, okay? If I write my own obituary, I'm going to say all the things that I really want you to know about me, right? All the great things that I should or could or would have done in my life. And then I read that out loud, and I focus on it a little bit, and I say, am I living that kind of life? And I challenge myself to go out and live that type of life, because when I'm going to be dying, I want to have the greatest epitaph ever on my stone, right? Like, here lied a guy who cooked good potatoes, right? No, I don't want that. I wanted to say all the great things I did and how great my family was. So I challenge you to go out with those two things. Go out, ask yourself what you can do. Ask yourself how you can live your life based on what you really hope for yourself. So thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here.